Grady A. Grady A.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Grade A Show. We are on episode 30. Episode 30. Wow. Big 3-0. We here, man. I got Mike with me. I got Musa here with me. Hopefully, we got some other people that's going to join up. In the meantime, everybody viewing, please like the channel. All the subscribers that have subscribed already, we thank you so much. And we just ask that you guys continue to share. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below if you feel the need to do so. Mike, what's good, man? We know we got game 2 tomorrow. Moose is here. Game 2 tomorrow. Mike, you had the Mavs in 6, but you got the Celtics background behind you.
Mavs in 7.
Now you go. Okay.
No, I always had them in 7, but
Mavs in 7.
You know what background I was going to switch it to before we came on. I might put it on next time, but we'll go with the Celtics for now.
Man,
that'll be a surprise for next episode.
You're looking like a troll right now, switching sides, man.
Yeah, like that logo. They have a troll as their logo.
Anywho, man. Thank you for everybody tuning in so far. Like I said, Mike's here, Moose is here. Let's talk about it.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Celtics. I got them winning game 2. I think it's going to be a closer game. Do you think that Kyrie's going to go 6 for 16, have a bad shooting game again? Do you think he's going to
I don't know if it'll be that bad, but I think his point prop's somewhere around like in the 20s, and I think he's definitely going to go under that. I don't think he's going to have per se great game or anything, but he might do a little bit better than that, put up maybe like 15, 16 points, but I'm not expecting anything big from him really. If Dallas bounces back, I think it is going to have to be on the other pieces around him, and then Luke is going to have to get more assists than just one assist personally. It's going to depend on what kids scheming up too.
So who would you say on Dallas could be the X factor for game 2 for them to tie the series and take home court advantage?
Well, the X factor is going to be Luka regardless. It's just the other guys have to equally contribute.
Okay, so besides Luka, who's the other guys who is out of the other guys, out of the role players you feel like has to have a good game for them to win tomorrow night?
Are you saying the other guys besides the role players, or you including?
No, besides Luka, which role player you believe has to have a great game tomorrow night?
I don't think they can get it done with just one of them having a good game. I think they got to have multiples to have a good game. And Lively definitely he has to play better. Washington, he got most of his points in garbage time, just for starters, right there. Green needs to move around. He's just standing there. It's got to be a collective effort. They need more than just one guy to make a difference, I think.
If I was to choose Musa, an X factor, I would probably go with PJ Washington. I think he had a very aggressive game last game, but I think with Porzingis' presence down low, I noticed that the Celtics played a lot of 2 big man game with Horford and Porzingis in a lot, And I think that they're going to take away that alley-oop pick and roll offense that Dallas tries to run a lot. So I would go with PJ Washington because they disrespected him a lot, leaving him wide open by the 3-point line last game. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing again just to test him and see where he's at. But I think he's a huge factor in them winning game 2.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I think someone who I feel like JK might play earlier in the game with more minutes just for scoring punch. I think he might try to put Tim Hardaway Jr. in the game a little earlier than he did last game, just for shooting purposes.
But
He
do
hasn't put
you,
him in much all postseason, though. That's the only thing that makes me doubt it. And I don't really trust Jason Kidd right now. It's I don't like what he's doing.
Yeah, they just need more scoring off that bench, and especially when you're
you think he's going to be an X
alternating.
factor, Musa?
If not tomorrow night, I don't see why JK doesn't throw in the towel and try to use them game 3 when they're home, because we know role players play better at home. I just feel like they need more scoring off that bench, especially if they get a little bit more from what they normally get. Let's say PJ's giving them 15, Kyrie's giving you 20, Luka's doing what Luka does, and then you have everyone else kind of filling the gaps. If Boston's shooting at their normal rate that they've been doing all year, they're going to need more scoring off that bench. And I don't know if they're going to get that from Jaden Hardy or Josh Green.
Josh
Hardaway is known for getting hot.
It's in the corner.
I mean, the tough part, I think where Hardaway is going to be that, he's barely played this postseason. And I feel like right now we've seen a lot of postseasons in our lifetime. And I feel like a lot of players like him that have been pivotal pieces a couple of years ago and stuff like that. For me, it kind of it takes away the confidence in a player when they're not playing that much out there. And I'm kind of, the same thing how I go with Peyton Pritchard. Like Peyton Pritchard didn't play that much last game.
Did he go like 0 for 6 or something like that?
I mean, yeah, you seen how he shot the ball compared to what he did the whole postseason. I mean, he was getting crazy minutes. Hauser came off the bench, I believe, before him in game 1. So for Tim Hardaway, I don't know. That's a real big hit or miss for me. I just think him not playing that much this postseason kind of takes away his confidence a little bit.
I'm not mad at that, but also someone that's a vet like him and others in the league, professionals, you got to stay ready when that number's called. And I think he has that mentality where he stays ready. And I just think he just needs the opportunity in the minutes. I think he can give them 10, 15 off the bench if he gets hot. Everyone knows if he get hot, he can go get you 20 if need to be. So I just got to see how they come out next game tomorrow night and see if they're going to have any laps early. And also, I didn't overreact too much to game 1 because this is the first game, and I expected them to come out rusty both sides. I didn't expect Porzingis to shoot that well that early, so
and a lot of people is saying that he's not going to shoot like that moving forward in this series. So how do you feel about that?
I don't think he's going 18 points in the first half. I don't think he will. I think do I believe he can do it again? Sure. Is he? No, I don't think he will, because I just feel like Dallas might throw something different at him where they try to see if they can let Drew or Derek White be the one to get everyone in rhythm. I think they're going to try to take away some of the touches, bump him early, get him off his spots, kind of like how Miami did in that series before he got hurt in game 2, and see if they can mimic that. Because I will say, because I heard you say this on the game 1 reaction, Tatum top 4, which is crazy. He's definitely 3rd for MVP stuff, but I don't really get into that after the first game. Tatum did everything he could to get everyone else involved. I feel like he was really poised, and I think it's going to be the steady diet of that again in game 2. Is just whether or not players make their shots. I do think he needs to clean up the turnovers, but I think that's something Mazzulla and them need to figure out on the offensive end, so where he's not always ball heavy on the offense, initiating the offense. Because if you notice, they're throwing multiple plays where they had at least 3 to 4 defenders or all 5 defenders focus on Tatum whenever he had the ball. And him being mature now at this stage, he's been able to just pick apart what they give and just let everyone else eat. But
Even
I don't.
after the game one performance, though, Tatum is still the betting favorite to be MVP. Just to clarify.
Yeah, I don't think he. I don't think he'll have another game under 20. I think it's his
And,
first game under 20 this whole postseason run.
and a lot of people, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. A lot of people was questioning why Tatum was projected to still be Finals MVP, given off of the game that he had. And to my understanding, I believe that it's all because of projection
Yeah.
of not knowing that he's not going to have another 16-point game again.
Even going back to last series, going into the last game against Indiana, I believe Brown was a 10-1 dog to get the MVP going into that last game. Even like I don't think Tatum was a heavy favorite. He was like -110, -200. He still didn't get it. So it's just a tough market to bet. And even though he's the betting favorite, I wouldn't really put much stock into it personally myself.
Yeah, personally, whether he wins Finals MVP or not, it don't matter to me. I just want them to finish the job. But I just love, and I've been saying this for years, even though when they was trying to say break up the Jays, they are the perfect yin-yang matchup for what they need from each other. Brown is the one who's the more aggressive. He's the more alpha, so to speak, as far as the locker room presence, the voice on the court. Everything is so opposite with them, and it fits so perfect. Tatum is not the type of person to be the voice of a locker room. That's where Brown steps in.
So
Brown's more. So it's like it's a perfect match in heaven, honestly. I feel like.
So let me ask you this, Musa, and then Mike, you can answer afterwards. Do y'all think that the Celtics could win the championship with Tatum averaging between 16 and 20 points a game?
If everyone else is playing,
with doing everything else that he did, rebounding, facilitating the way that he did, do y'all think the Celtics could win?
If they're playing like this, I don't see why they can't. But the thing is, I'm gonna say no ultimately because I don't feel like the Celtics is gonna play at that level throughout the whole series. If they're playing at that level the whole series, the series is over in 5 at most. So I'm gonna lean towards no.
Going back to the Porzingis thing about shooting earlier, I was going to say, I think he can put up those numbers like he did from 3 last game all series long. I don't know if he'll get per se the shooting stats for everything, but definitely the three-point field goals. I think he can put up the rest of the series. And yeah, I think they can win with Tatum playing like that. I have said for a while, 15 field goals a game for him to attempt is the sweet spot. I really don't think you need him as much as people think you do because you have such a good supporting cast around you with depth that you play good defense, you get 10 to 15 points from 6-7 guys, you're gonna win. I'm like, you don't need it because look, he still had 11 rebounds, maybe 6-7 assists if I remember correctly from game one.
I thought he played pretty well game one. Honestly, it was just the turnover that he had to control.
Yeah,
but you already know if he averages between that 16 and 20, you know what the narrative is going to be anyway. With him. He can't win in the media's eyes unless he does. If he has a 46 game 6 Milwaukee type of game, or dominance, like no matter what he do, it's always going to be something they're going to pick at with him. So
this leads into my next question. Like, we know that if the Celtics would have lost that game and Tatum had 16 points, we already know what we would be talking about right now. We would have known what all the media would be talking about right now. Like, that's a good problem to have in my perspective, is that I don't think Porzingis is going to come out that hot in the first half like he did last game. But I feel like that's a good problem to have. Do y'all think also if he was to average between 16 and 20 with facilitating, with rebounding, with playing good defense, do you think that he will be looked at as a top 5 player in the NBA? Because we know people are already talking about Luka. If Luka was to win this finals, he's taking the reign from Jokic as being the best player in the world.
That's no reaction, if you ask me.
Which I find funny because if Tatum plays to his level and does that, it's going to be, he's still top 10. So it's funny. I think obviously the numbers in the eye test scream Luka's better, but I feel like it's a lot closer than people think because of the defensive side of the ball that Tatum possesses. But end of the day, honestly, I'm excited for tomorrow night's game because I feel like some adjustments Dallas can make is when they're trying to overplay on Tatum with the ball, a lot of the times the weak side is literally leaving the weak side corner open. There's a play with Max Kleber. I think it was Derek White. He left wide open in the left corner. because he's so focused on Tatum, who's at the top of the key with the ball, and Luka literally won another play. Luka was on the weak side, which was the strong side, and someone was in the right corner. I think it was Drew Holiday. He literally walked away from Drew Holiday to go to the left wing to focus on Tatum. It's like they're putting so much gravity and attention to Tatum. I feel like Jason Kidd adjustment he should make is if you're gonna send doubles at Tatum, the weak side needs to stay home on threes because you're playing into Boston's hand. This is not Minnesota. We don't have a reliability on offense. All 5 players can move without the ball, move with the ball, and shoot. So if you're going to send help on Tatum, you need to make sure corners stay home, or you guys are communicating where they're rotating. Because I feel like Luka defensively, game 1 was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get into that next, but the thing I definitely do agree with the Tatum part as far as when they doubled him. I want Tatum to start making moves a little bit quicker before he gets himself too much in a double team or triple team driving to the basket. It was a couple times where I'm not going to say it's luck, but a couple times where he had to do a crazy pass to get it out to the wing or to whoever was open, basically passing out of the air and stuff like that. And I think, Dallas is going to adjust to that. Hands is going to be up and stuff like that. People's going to be aware of that stuff. Shout out to him for being able to make those passes. I just want to see him be able to make quicker decisions and stuff like that. As far as the Luka side, and I want to bring back to the point where you brought up with the Porzingis not having a big shooting tier, or not thinking that he might not have that. What can the Mavericks do on the switches on the pick and roll? Because seeing how Luka played defense in game 1, how do you think Porzingis cannot repeat what he did? It may not be to that big of a shooting efficiency game, but how do you think that he can't easily score 20, 25, 30 points in game 2 if that's how Luka's going to play on the switches? And we know what he's going to probably do to Lively or Gafford if they're stuck on him out there in the perimeter.
One thing I think too is you could double him to keep his production down, but that's just gonna leave someone else open. Personally, I think so. I don't see a point in doing that. But they seem to lock him down good in the second half. So if they just keep doing what they were doing in the second half with him, they should be fine. But I don't think physically they have anyone who can even match up with them. Look at the big guys. He towers above them.
Yeah, and it was projected that Dallas's bigs was defensively that good. I mean, I definitely agree with you, Mike, as far as the Lively situation. I mean, only having 2 points with 5 fouls is definitely a no-no for them. But I think that, his only game is feeding off of the rebounds and off of the alley-oop game from Luka or Kyrie. So if the Celtics eliminate that again, and, I mean, Gafford, I personally can't rely on him, and that's what I asked you from last episode, Mike, and I kind of want you to answer this, Musa. Who can you really rely on to give you a guaranteed 10 to 15 points a game other than Kyrie and Luka on that team?
From the bigs perspective or just in general?
Just everybody overall.
PJ Washington is one. I think Lively is another one. It's just the lights was too big for him. And people forget he is a rookie. There was a lot of bonehead fouls he was doing against Porzingis that he didn't need to do.
It looked like the team they played last round, him out there.
Yeah, I kind of think once he gets settled in, I think everyone was pretty much like rushed a bit because it's a new atmosphere. A lot of them haven't been in that atmosphere other than Kyrie. I think that's why Kyrie was so like calm, smiling, not letting things get to him because he knows what it takes to win these games. He knows it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's just game 1. If anyone knows how to be relaxed and to be able to smile after a game like that, it's Kyrie, given his track history with Cleveland in 2016. So I feel like they'll come out with more poise next game, and I think Gafford can be more of a bigger factor on the offensive end if he doesn't get into foul trouble. It's just they're gonna have to schematically scheme up some things where they can get easy buckets because I don't think the lobs are gonna be there as often as they think it's gonna be. Unless Porzingis is in foul trouble, and now you got to pull Horford out, and then you got to play Luke Cornette. But then again, to counter that, I think this is a big chess game because if you counter that, you can put Tillman in. Tillman's not a good lob protector. but it
I-
limits the what's the one? It limits them being sitting in the paint, Gafford and Lively, because now you got to account for all 5 players. But Cormet being in the game might be troublesome for us because he's not a rim protector, so the lobs are gonna open up for them.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying as far as the lob dirt stuff. I
Let's
per-
put Tatum on them because Tatum. I don't know if a lot of people know Tatum was guarding the 5s most of that game too.
yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely.
I wouldn't have Tillman or Cornette touch the court in this series, to be honest. If we're gonna go that deep into the bench, I'd put Brissett out there before either one of them.
you know who I feel should be playing off that bench.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I personally don't care for Tillman or Cornette.
Hey,
Brissett-
y'all know I'd rather see Jordan Walsh out there, but that's just because y'all know how I feel about Jordan Walsh. So
Yeah, I hope the Celtics eventually end up, getting him in there some way somehow. But seeing what they did with Neesmith, seeing what they did with Romeo Langford and stuff like that, him being that wing player, I would hope, but I mean, we'll see as time will tell.
I got a quick question for you guys while we're on these bench players. If Dallas is desperate and they want to try to get a spark, well, I mentioned you this after we went off the air on Thursday. How about putting Markieff Morris in?
We talked about that. I was like, yo, look at what his brother did in Cleveland.
Yep.
He might want to try to replicate that.
you said Markieff. It ain't.
Yep.
It's not Marcus. If it was
Nope,
Marcus,
it's
I would
Markieff.
agree.
Nope, it's
Marcus,
Markieff.
sure. Markieff, nah.
Man, he needs some of that. He needs some of that brotherly love juice or
He needs
something.
some of that.
man.
He needs some of that dog in him. He ain't got that. Marcus
Yeah,
got
Marcus-
that dog in him.
Yeah, Marcus has always been my favorite out of the
You can
brothers.
put Markieff in for fouls. Hey, you got 6 fouls. Use them.
Yep.
Another
Corner
person I'm
3 here and there,
surprised.
but
I'm surprised I haven't seen from Dallas's side all postseason was Seth Curry.
But I mean, that goes to the same point you guys was telling me about Tim Hardaway, and we all know Steph is a better shooter than Tim, but I think Tim's a better scorer overall when he gets hot. Like he can torch people. So I don't know. Steph should be another person they can use, but then again, they just don't have the personnel to match up defensively against us.
I don't think he's on the active roster for this series either, by the way.
That's what I was gonna say. You guys know anything about if he got any lingering injuries or
Let me look it up real quick. Hold up.
is just not playing them? Because they pointed it out, and I honestly forgot that he was on that roster.
I haven't. I forgot too, but I haven't heard anything regarding his health.
Because he wasn't in the box score as even an option, so I don't think he's active for the series.
Musa, let me ask you this: how do you feel about?
Oh no,
Mazzulla?
he's on the Hornets now.
He's on the Hornets.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was still on Dallas.
That was
Musa, how do you
trade for Washington? I think.
how do you feel about Musa? How do you feel about Mazzulla? Let's separate the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. How do you think he's been doing with his lineup rotations, his timeout callings, plays after timeouts and stuff like that?
Well, I've been more high on him, although I'll be joking around calling him Kaka because it's just funny. But I've been more high on him overall from his improvement from last season and this season. And, being in a sports city like Boston, LA, New York, it's tough. People have short-term memory. People forget he was thrown into this coaching position last season. And in unexpected terms. So it's like he had to learn on the fly. He was in the back row when Ime was there for probably a year or so. Or not even a year. So he still had a lot to learn, and it wasn't his own coaching staff. So going into this offseason, being able to have his own coaching staff, adding Sam Cassell to the staff, and just really molding the team in his own way. The team hasn't like the coaching staff and etc. It helped, and then as far as the players go, they trusted him more now that they had a full offseason to, add in their pros and cons of what the offensive defense should look like. I think he's been doing a phenomenal job with his adjustments. Specifically in this first game, the defensive adjustments he made against Dallas, allowing Luka to kind of just be a scorer. Because a lot of times Luka was just trying to drive and kick naturally, but he couldn't because everyone was there in position. Everyone's hands is up. They kind of did like a scheme of a man, but really a zone. His timeouts, I like his timeouts a lot because he allows them to play through runs. And let me clarify: when the other team's on a run against Boston, he allows them to play through that, which I love about him because it allows the team to kind of figure it out. So I love how he uses his timeouts. I love that he lets them play. Unless they're doing some BS on offense where he's like, yo, this is not how we're supposed to run the offense, he really doesn't call the timeouts. He lets them make the mistakes. He lets them play through their mistakes, and they learn from it. And that's why the team is where they're at now, and they've been a deeper team to this point.
Mike, how you feel about Mazzulla? Because we know that you've been giving them a lot of slander this season.
Yeah, no, as I said Thursday night, I thought the defensive scheming was genius there that he was using in the first half. The guys didn't even have to play defense, just where they were positioned. It just made Dallas uncomfortable, and they couldn't do anything. But yeah, I have no complaints with him. The only complaints that I had, well, I don't have any complaints with him this series, I should say. The only complaints I do have with him this series, if I was to make one, is putting Sam Hauser in the game over Peyton Pritchard. I'm not a big fan of that. I understand he had a better game than him last game, but I wouldn't count on that going forward.
Well, I think it's for defensive purposes too, though. Hauser actually, one thing I'll give him credit for, he actually puts effort into playing defense. He did pretty solid in the game one against Dallas, and to see him finally make shots, which I knew he would, I just thought he was just in the slump against Indiana because of the pace that they play at. It's good to see. I don't think Pritchard's going to be in a slump for long either. I think Pritchard's going to have a good game at some point. It's just finding the time to put him in, because you want to put him in and have a matchup against Luka. But then do you want him on the island against Kyrie? So it's like you got to pick the spots. And I think Mazzulla's going to make some adjustments coming in tomorrow night's game. And then you never know, foul trouble could be in a play.
I wasn't a fan of him waiting until halfway through the third to put Porzingis in either. I didn't think that was too wise a move myself.
Yeah. That third quarter was crazy. From a 29-point lead to under 10 points.
That doesn't surprise me that happened. I'm used to that.
Yeah, that's happened all season long. That's very true.
It happened for the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'll say that they did well on is they was able to weather that storm and keep the lead. And I think that's where the maturity came for Jaylen Brown. And I just want to give him his flowers because he has improved vastly since the 2022 season.
So do we call that adversity, or do we call that they wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place?
What adversity?
Them falling from a 29-point lead, weathering the storm, as you say.
No, because it wasn't like they was losing. Dallas cut the lead down, but it was in control for the whole game, in my opinion. So I wouldn't really call that adversity.
They were on the brink of adversity. If it got closer than that, you could get to that point. But they did well enough to keep it out of that range.
One thing I want to point out in that third quarter, too, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes left in the third quarter. If you guys noticed that they probably took a handful of threes, was missing shots. Dallas was on the run, coming back, cut the lead down under 10. And you notice when Jaylen Brown and Tatum, it was good to see those guys, the main ball handlers, the main scorers on the team, take the ball into the basket. Shots weren't falling. They took it to the basket, got to the free throw line, and it opened up everything else for them.
What part of the game were you saying that at?
Say it again.
What part of the game were you saying that at?
That was like 3-4 minutes left in the third quarter, I believe.
See, but that's the problem, though. They should have been doing that the whole time. What did they go? 0 for 7, 1 for 7 for threes?
It was like in that quarter, I think the team was 1 for 7 or 1 for 9.
Well, I think they ended up like 3 for 12 when it was all said and done. But they started off until like 3 or 4 minutes left. They were like 1 for 7, 1 for 8 from 3, and just what are we doing? Because I know it was a 21-point lead at halftime. We already started to slip a little before halftime. But what are we doing taking that many threes with a 21-point lead? Like, it's just unnecessary.
But that's their game. I mean, that's what happened in play. Like, I agree, it is unnecessary, but at the same time, they've been playing this way the last 3-4 seasons, and particularly just keep it in this season. They won over 60-something games playing this style. So, yes, I agree with adversity. As I said, I wouldn't call this one adversity. But
I just want to ask a question because we had other people on the panel to say that adversity is one thing, and then
I think he's pointing out what Ace said. That's what
you know
I
what I'm
think
saying.
he's commented on.
I just gotta ask and see. You know, it seems like we're on the same page here, but unfortunately, other guys ain't on here today.
Well, I've said they've had game adversity, but series adversity they haven't had it. But that's an accomplishment if you don't have to have series adversity, because that means you're getting the job done early.
Yeah, I want to get back to Brown though, because I want to give him back his flower. Continue to give him his flowers. Like I was saying, from the last finals appearance up until this point, he improved vastly with off-ball movement on defense. On-ball defense has improved. His left-handed is improved. Now we know he ain't the best ball handler, but he has improved on left. Like you seen game when he split a double team and he dunked on Gafford. Like the little things like that, you see the improvement in his game, and I love to see that. I believe.
One thing I noticed, Musa, and I don't mean to cut you off. One thing I noticed with Brown is that the game, he seems like he's moving slower out there, but he's being more effective.
Yes, he's at that point where everyone. Now, I don't agree with all former NBA players when they say certain things, because some things they say just be blasphemous. But one thing I hear all of them continuously say is when they get to that 27, 26 age, mostly 27, that's when the game really slows down for them, for the elite players at least, to where now they can just get to their spots and they can dictate the game and control the game. I think that's where Brown's at mentally and is showing. He's been a lot more efficient. Still need to work on them free throws, but I'm not going to pick at anything. I wanted to ask you guys, where would you rank him if they win the championship in the league?
I'd put him on the fringe of 10 probably, but getting back to what you said, Pace. So he's taken that tactical approach that how I talked about with Luka, how even though he's out of shape and not the best athlete, he knows where to be to get the rebounds, and he's a good shooter. So Brown has that amazing downhill game, and he's incorporating that tactical ability in with that to know where to be to start going downhill towards the hoop. And I just think that's an evolvement in his game that he didn't have before.
No, definitely. Back to Musa's question though, if we would have them in the top 10, Mike, you say you have them the verge of 10?
That's high.
Just to remind ourselves, when we did the top 50, we had him right, I think, above Maxey at 24. And we know he definitely elevated his game since the playoffs has started. If I was to rank Brown, I would have him top 15.
Well, yeah, verge of 10. I'm saying like 10 to 15. He could fall anywhere in that
top 15
category.
And that's even if the Celtics don't win the finals this year. I would still have him top 15.
Okay. So let me. All right, because I agree. I will probably put him in that 15 range also. 10 is going to be tough, but I think if anyone's capable of eventually getting to that, it will be him. But I mentioned this to give him the flowers because people are going to look at the points per game. That doesn't tell the full story, given that the sacrifice he had to make. And if you just watch him play, you can tell he's a lot better now than he was last season. Like people will look back now. Obviously, we'll talk about present time. People 10, 50 years will look back like, oh, last season when he averaged 27 was his best season. But if you look at how he's playing now, I don't see how you can say
we say the same thing with Tatum. That year he averaged 30, and I think he's having a way better season this year than that year when he averaged 30 points a game. Yeah, and we talked about it before. There's a lot more others on that team to where it's taken away from.
The big thing that they use with Brown and why they left him off the NBA All-Team, I've heard, is that his pie is significantly down this year from what it's been in the past. That was a huge factor from what I've heard from multiple people.
Let me throw out some names. Would you rather for Jaylen Brown, Anthony Simons?
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown by far.
Austin Reeves.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, yeah.
Klay Thompson.
Jaylen
Brown at this point in his career, absolutely.
DJ McCollum.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Jalen Green.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown for right now. I think it'll stay that way too, but it could change if he evolves.
Jadante Murray.
JB.
Yeah, JB.
Bradley Beal.
JB.
No, JB without a doubt.
Desmond Bain.
JB.
JB.
Tyrese Maxey,
JB.
JB
Zach-
for now. That could
Zach
change.
Levine.
JB.
JB.
Let's see. Donovan Mitchell.
I would go with
I'll
Jalen
take that,
Brown.
yeah, I'll take Mitchell.
I would go with Jalen Brown defensive just because defensive purposes.
And
Tyler
for health
Hero.
too. I don't know. Mitchell has been the most healthy recently.
Tyler
I'll take
Hero,
Brown over here.
JB. Easy.
Anthony Edwards.
JB. More
I'll take Edwards just based on potential.
And Devin Booker.
Oh, JB. I'm good on Booker.
I'm taking
People
JB
just
for
going on Booker, but
and I'm not shitting on him, but defensive purposes. The same thing with who did I say before? Donovan Mitchell. I think both of those, him and Booker, is better scorers and offensive players than Jalen Brown. But I take JB defensively in a landslide over them two.
And Booker has injury problems too.
So the names I ran off was from a website that published top 24 shooting guards from the 2023-24 season. And they had Jalen Brown at 4. And the 3 guards ahead of him was Mitchell, Booker, and I have to look back at the other one. Because I threw in Tyler Hero, but he was behind Jalen Brown. Oh, Anthony Edwards. They had Anthony Edwards ahead of him.
So who do you have? Do you have JB over them 3, Musa?
Over Booker, Ant-Man, and Mitchell.
Yep.
Well, you guys know how I feel. I have Mitchell as the best shooting guard in the league.
That's fair. I wouldn't even argue.
The only thing that scares me with Mitchell is his health. If he didn't have the health issues, I'd take him in a heartbeat, and I'm still going to go with Mitchell. But it's just more of a close call because his injuries have been an issue recently.
I feel like all 4 of them are. Let me break it. How I want to break this down.
My thing Booker, before you go, Musa, is just defensively. I think Jalen Brown,
and that's why I'm not. I wouldn't even be mad at. But I also want to make sure for people watching that they don't get miscued by game 1, because 3 blocks, 3 steals is it's a game. It's almost as equal as KP shooting what he was shooting in the first half.
I think a big turning point for JB this year too was in mid to late March. He was having an okay year before then, but since then because he had a lot of handling issues before that. I think since then he's really upped his game a lot. And then what we've seen the last round in the first game here is he's earning that $300 million+ contract.
Oh yeah, I think he was more so like cruise control. I think because the success that him and Tatum had early. Certain spots of the season, especially this season, with them being better than every team by a wide margin, he kind of could have been a little bit on a cruise control, trying to pace himself forward. When the playoffs come, he can lock in. But back to the question Peso asked. I'm gonna break this down based between the 4: Ant-Man, Book, Mitch, and JB, and all the levels. Pure scorers, I will give JB probably the 3rd spot.
Over who?
Over Ant-Man only. I think Booker and Mitchell's a better pure scorer overall scorer than him from all 3 levels. And I don't think it's a wide margin either, but I'll just give Mitchell and Book the slight edge on the scoring aspect. Defensively, Brown's the best defensive guard out of the 4. And then it'll be Ant-Man. But Ant-Man off ball needs to improve because it's bad off ball. But his on ball defense is very good. Playmaking, I'm going Mitchell, Book. It's a toss up between him and Ant-Man. Playmaking. Brown's ability to get to the rim and kick out has been very, very good this season. I'll probably give Brown the edge on Ant-Man right now for playmaking. Rebounding, I feel like it'll be Ant and JB. Wouldn't matter who's 1 or 2. But I'll probably say out of the 4, I'll probably give Jalen Brown the number 1 or 2 spot. And if I had someone to put ahead of him, it'll probably be Mitchell. But that's it.
One thing with Ant Edwards too is he brings the ball up a lot more than JB, which causes those turnovers. But JB is a million times better shooter than Anthony Edwards is. He's got to really work on that shooting game.
He's a better 3-point shooter. Ant-Man has definitely improved shooting the ball in the mid range and them pull ups. I would still take Brown, but Ant-Man has definitely improved the shooting this season compared to last season.
So are we concluding this to be the top 4 shooting guards going into next season?
Oh, without a doubt, I put him number 3 on my list.
So we got not in order, but Booker, Mitchell, Brown, and then Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, those are the 4. My 5th, and the reason why I think he will be 5th is because I think he can do so much in the winning environment, and I feel bad because that team has been ridiculed with injuries. People really sleep on Zach LaVine, how good Zach LaVine is.
He's had his own injuries too. It's not just the people.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I was mentioning his injuries, along with the team just being ridiculed with injuries. Because before Lonzo got hurt, they was rolling in Chicago.
They were number 1 seed for a while, if I remember correctly.
I just feel like people he gets swept on the radar a bit, and obviously because of the injuries and everything that's been going on in Chicago. But LaVine, in a winning situation, can easily be in this top 5 shooting guard conversation, in my opinion.
Unfortunately, with his injury history, I'll put his running mate over him right now.
Debo?
Yeah, easily.
But Debo's at a
that's just because of availability. You say you consider him a 3?
Yeah, he's been listed at the 3. Small forward. Lately. But I wouldn't be mad at that either. But I'll still take LaVine because of the upside with the age. But Debo is definitely like a seasoned vet. Rosen knows what to do. I wouldn't be mad at that. But LaVine healthy, he can average 28. I believe he can get you 30 a night if healthy. Because he was at one point he was what 26, 27 a night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like it's nothing he can't do. He's under. I feel like he's a solid passer. He is an okay, solid defender. He can score at all 3 levels. He's always been a great shooter. He's been a great shooter since UCLA. So with the athleticism, the handle, it's like I don't see why not if he's healthy, but he's got to stay healthy.
We're gonna take this moment right now. Everybody tuning in, we thank y'all. Y'all like the channel. Continue to subscribe if you haven't already. What do y'all think that JB is in the top 10, top 15, top 20 going into next season? Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you feel. Musa, I know you wasn't here last episode, but how do you feel about the whole we're hearing that the head coach from UConn might be
Dan Hurley?
Yeah, the Lakers' next head coach. How you feel about that?
Who cares? I'm worried about my Celtics. I don't want to hear nothing about no Lakers. This is coming from that got LeBron as the GOAT. I don't give a damn about the Lakers. Should have spoke about them when they had their chance to beat Denver, but they choked. So that's beyond the point, though. Seriously, the reason why I don't care for it too much is because is Pelinka and Genie gonna allow him to coach? That's the real question. Because I can see him going there doing what Darvin Ham does and get way more respect and praise for it, or get ridiculed just as bad. I mean, they're hiring their 3rd or 4th coach in the last 3-4 seasons, 5-6 seasons.
I'm hearing that they're gonna shake up a long deal for him to do some type of college type of rebuild transformation
But that's my thing is if you're gonna hire him, you're gonna allow him to coach, actually coach, and you're already going to be in a win now mode because you have LeBron and AD. But you need to get young pieces so he can actually mold and build them up. But the thing is, LeBron and AD is not trying to sit around and be part of a small rebuild. So then you're in a tight spot because are you gonna let him coach so he can develop players? Because one thing Dan Hurley's good at, he knows how to develop players, and he's a player's coach. But you gotta allow him to do that. And LA is not the town for that, where people's gonna want to sit and wait. They want to win now. So that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of on the fence, because It's nothing to do with his coaching ability. He's a great coach, phenomenal coach. It's just more so the organization and everything around that they're going to allow him to be him. But from what you was just saying, Pace, about the contract, they might let him give him the keys. I just feel like it's ironic they're going to give him the keys, but they wouldn't per se do the same for Darvin Ham, who just took your team to a conference finals and just lost the first round. Granted, it was a first round exit, but it's to the defending champs, the only team that they have lost in the playoffs this 2-year run, and they have improved every season he was there. So I'm just like, I don't know what LA is gonna do. The roster's not great already, so it's like I don't know. Genie, Rob, you got a lot of strings to pull this offseason.
I think it's just the writing on the wall myself. I think they're going to draft Bronny. They're just going to use him to develop him like he was just in college. But I don't know how that's going to work with LeBron though, because LeBron's not. Can't see LeBron taking the coaching from Dan Hurley. Like I don't see how that's going to work out. But I'm just glad that JJ Redick's not getting the job, man. That would have been crazy.
I wouldn't have been mad at JJ getting it. But at the same time, it would have just been even a bigger, bad look because him and we're on with the podcast. People going to talk, and even we had the conversation prior where we had Draco and everyone else on, and how my stance. So I wanted to just clear. My stance wasn't that he will be a bad coach. My stance was I feel like there was other people out there who deserves an opportunity to even get looked at or mentioned before him who didn't have any experience coaching. Kind of like. And we seen how that last time something like this happened with Steve Nash, how that played out. That's where my stance was at. If he was to get hired, I wouldn't have been mad at it. It's just like, it goes back to those saying, it's all about who you know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see about that. But like you said, Musa, nobody care about the Lakers right now, man. We on to this finals game 2. Real quick, fellas, before y'all get out of here, what's y'all projections for game 2?
You can go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think Jason, as I told you in the text, I think Gafford, Washington, Kidd, they all remembered who they were on that week off. They reverted back to the players and the coach that they used to be. So I don't got much faith, man, to say the least. I think the Celtics are probably going to win, to say the least.
Musa, what you got?
I want to pick Boston. I want to pick Dallas because I feel like, for one, they're not going to have 9 assists in a game. That I know for a fact. We had more blocks and steals combined, I think, or blocks than they had assists or tied. That's not going to be the case this time. Do I see Kyrie missing a lot of butt naked open threes like he did in that third quarter? I don't see that happening either. And do I see Boston shooting as hard as they did again tomorrow night? No, but I don't think they're going to be that bad either. But if I had to choose, I'm probably going to go Boston game 2.
Yeah, I got the Celtics game 2. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be under 10 points. I definitely think Dallas is going to come out and adjust. I think Kyrie will have another bad game. He's been 0-11 now since he stepped on the whole lucky thing situation. So I think he's just having a little bad luck right now in the Garden. I think Luka might come out a little hot, but I think the Celtics defense is going to take away that lob game. I do think Jason Kidd might get out coached again, like in game 1.
Who's officiating?
They won't announce it till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
If it's certain somebody, if it's certain 2 referees might be coaching that game, I might have to go Dallas.
It's either going to be Scott Foster or Tony Brothers, and Tony Brothers is going to have a real tough time because he loves both of those teams. He's going to have trouble picking which one. But Scott Foster, when the team's down, we know how he works his magic.
I don't trust not one of them. So therefore, I might be on the fence if one of those is reffing.
Let me see if they got it up yet. Hold on, they usually don't put it up till 9 a.m. Let me check if it's up yet.
So neither one of those guys reffed last game.
Nope.
No, nope.
The reason why I don't trust it because their crews and other crews I know after game 1 of series, when they let physicality be a factor and things like that, they start to call a lot of more ticky-tack fouls like this regular season. And is what's gonna swing the momentum. I noticed that in the Indiana series, like a lot of ticky tack fouls being called on both teams, and the momentum was starting to shift because of that. I just feel that I just want them to play. It's the finals. We're not here to see y'all old ass people in stripes. We want to see these players go play and go get this ring. So that's all we want to see.
You were talking about Kyrie having an off game. Did you guys see him arguing with the fan on the bench?
Nah.
Who? Marketing?
No,
Kyrie
He was arguing with a fan on the bench, like in the middle of the game.
Oh
So-
no.
So
No.
that tough mental, the Phoenix thing, whatever he was talking about, that mental serenity, that's
Was
all
he-
gone, man.
Was
It's
he
like-
actually arguing with a fan, or was he
Yeah.
going having?
I
a
didn't.
conversation
They didn't.
back
They
and
didn't
forth?
show it on the TV, but I think you might be able to find a video.
But this is just word of
online.
mouth at this. Oh, okay.
Let me see if it's a video online, but I've heard it from multiple people.
Watching the game, no, I didn't really notice the fans was kind of like all like laxy on Kyrie and Luka. They wasn't really messing with them until
Nah.
probably like the second half a
Did
little
you see
bit.
the bald white dude pointing at Luka when he was at the free throw line?
I think he did because
They-
after
they-
that he
they
had
showed-
3.
Yeah, they showed it on the TV. On the TV, that was funny. He was just not
Yeah,
serious
yeah.
pointing at him.
Listen, man. A lot of people talking about too is like the Celtics fans was gonna get in all their heads and that was gonna fuel them up and stuff like that.
Hell, who knows? It might tomorrow night. You might get a go home, bitch.
Yeah,
From Luka.
that's something that I don't want to see. But like I said, I think Dallas is gonna come out way better next game. I really don't trust the bigs over there on Dallas, to be honest with you. I mean, Kyrie
Shout
and
out to the
Luka.
W. Every time I get on him, I'm shouting out the women's basketball too.
Shout out Angel Reese, man. She's
That's
over there breaking records too, man. I think she deserves a lot more recognition. I just want to throw that out there. I know Caitlin's doing her thing. Cardoso's back. Cameron Brink's doing her thing over there in LA.
Tia
But
Jackson. Peely from on the links. I just think this rookie class has been phenomenal so
Shout
far
out
this
to
year.
all of
Shout out
them.
to W. And the best player in the league is doing best player of the league things in Asia Wilson. So
A lot of people ain't
shout
talking
out to the
about that.
W.
She's looking to win her second MVP in a row or third.
Second in 3 years. She lost it last year to Stewie. Breonna Stewart, for those who don't know, plays on the Liberty. Multiple time champion in Seattle. 4-time champ, I believe, at UConn. Won 4 straight. So, shout out to the W, man.
Well, look at Caitlin Clark. She put up great numbers in the toilet bowl last night between the fucking Fever and the Mystics. But
Hey,
look at what happened the night before the game
Listen.
before against Liberty. 3 points, man. 3 points.
that's such a backhanded compliment. But listen, if you remember when we first had this conversation, I said she's going to get her rhythm and her groove when she starts playing the weaker teams in the league, because the record, her schedule at the beginning of the year was ridiculous. They was playing the top 3-4 teams in the league off the bat. So
Connecticut, I think it was Vegas.
Liberty twice. I need to play
Yep.
Connecticut twice.
Connecticut,
Liberty, they
yeah.
had the Aces. So I expected that. But yeah, she dropped a 30 ball, hit 7 threes, tied the rookie record last night. So shout out to her. It's not surprising to me. I think her biggest attribute is her playmaking. I always said that, which is why I said she reminds me of Steve Nash with a better jump shot, for at least better 3-point range. Let me clarify that.
She was not selected for the United States women's team today either, by the way.
I didn't expect none of the rookies to be
Yeah.
honest.
I
I would
like-
love to have seen Angela Reese or Clark on that roster just to get that experience from the vets, kind of like how they've done with the men's in the past. But it's all right. They're going to get their time. They're going to be the forefront with Juju in the future for the women's Olympics. So
I like what the Chicago Sky are doing, taking the heel role of being the anti-Caitlin Clark team and them speaking out and showing toughness and aggression. I'm a big fan of what they're doing over
yeah,
there.
shout out Kennedy Carter.
Yeah.
Excuse me if I mispronounce your name, because people been getting on her ever since that Clark bump. Like, she's not a bucket. Like, do your homework on that girl, man. She's a bucket. She's always been a bucket. So I want to clear that up. But yeah, man, there's great things going on in the W. The Aces had a great signing in Tiffany Hayes, a vet that helped them a lot while Chelsea Gray's still out. I wish they would have kept Danasia Fair, the rookie they signed. But she got waived. Hopefully she gets picked up soon, because she definitely deserves to be in the W. She can she's a bucket. She's been a bucket in college. I think she deserves to play the W. So, yeah, can't wait for these expansion teams in the future. Boston, y'all on the clock. We need a W team out here. Y'all on the clock. You heard it here first on the Grade A show. We need a W team in Boston.
That'll be pretty dope, man. Yeah. Game 2's tomorrow, everybody. Everybody tuning in. We thank y'all. Leave a comment down below who y'all got for Game 2 tomorrow. We will be live again probably Monday afternoon to review Game 2. But in the meantime, y'all continue liking the channel, leaving comments, share these podcasts, share the reels that we got coming out. We thank everybody that has subscribed so far. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button to continue to help us grow. And we will see you guys Monday.
Peace and love, y'all.
Grade A.
Hey, run that thing up.